This video will give you an overview of using Google Maps in the classroom for you and your students. First, I'll start by how to find Google Maps. You can always go to maps.google.com. By typing this in, you'll go straight to the site. It will bring up your location based on where you are currently located. Students can use the app's launcher, look for the app here. If they can't find the app here, if it hasn't recently been used, they'll click on All Apps and look for the Google Maps icon. It'll bring you up in a Google Maps window like the one you see here, and I'll show you the features of the page. The first area in the top left is searching Google Maps, where you can put locations. I'm going to go ahead and put a location in Cincinnati for Great American Ballpark. I can always search by the name of the location, a physical address, or even coordinates to be able to put those in. You can provide those for students. I will show you a couple different areas on the page, which is the side panel you see opening when you open up a destination or a place that's already listed and notated on Google Maps. I'm going to collapse this side panel for now just so I can show you some other features of the page. The bottom left shows an Earth view where you see a Maps view here. You can also switch to Earth. Most students want to see the Earth view to make it look more realistic and three-dimensional. You'll see most students will choose that view when they're navigating around Google Maps. You can switch back and forth and go back to Map View here or Earth View. The next area I'll show you is the bottom right. You'll see areas here for zooming in and out, depending on which area of your map you'd like to see closer or further away. You'll also see the Pegman. If you want to see street view images, you'll grab the Pegman, hover him over the map, and look for all the areas that are streets with blue lines or circles with blue lines that are actually photographs. You can drop yourself into an area for photographs. I'm going to drop him here in this intersection so he can kind of see the main entrance to Great American Ballpark. Once you drop the Pegman, you can look around a 360 view of your area, and you can see the entrance to the Great American Ballpark here. But students can explore the area all the way around. You can also advance down the road in either direction as long as you see this arrow pointing here. So I can go forward, and then I can again adjust my view and look around 360 view. So helpful for looking for destinations, places, helping kids search for things, and looking for different locations. You'll notice now that I'm in the street view and dropped into the map, there's also in the upper right, tells me the address of where I'm located, and it gives me the date and time of the street view picture I'm looking at. I can go backwards in time and go back as far as Google Maps shows you. You'll see most Google Maps, depending on location, will be from 2007 to now. So, and moving forward. So you'll have to just wait and see how often those pictures are updated. Most metro areas are updated more often than outskirts or suburb areas. So you can go backwards in time and look at the same spot and the same view in different times. So you can change and see what's been changing here throughout time. So it's kind of a nice view and have students to compare past views of the same area. So that's here in the upper left when I'm in the street view. Again, you can use this to advance yourself, turn all the way to street view, and travel the map back to where you came from. While you're here in the bottom right, I'll also show you that you can view imagery. So by clicking here, you can show and explore areas. So it'll show you pictures of many of the features here that people have contributed to Google Maps. You can take Google Maps pictures and upload them. Google will approve your maps, and you can actually have your pictures viewed on Google Maps by thousands of people around the world. Kind of a nice thing to be able to upload and share. Hiding imagery takes you back to the street view. If I want to get out of the peg view, I can go hit the back arrow here. It takes me back out to where we originally started, which was here in an overall view. Again, grabbing the Pegman is what we just experienced and going down to the maps. Another area we mentioned about going forward and backwards in time. You can also do that in the upper right when you're dropped with a Pegman, but I'm going to open up the side panel. The side panel lets you type in a location, again, by a name, the physical address, or the coordinates. brings it up. You can even calculate and do directions from here. It gives you a little bit of information about the area, also gives you some photos. Here's an area where you could add a photo if you have one here. And you can change some other features from this point. You can also save this to your Google Maps and it'll show up on your list of places. But one thing for students, they can always go to directions and find directions on how to get to a location. So if they want to start from their school and say we want to travel from Mulberry Elementary, we can calculate the distance, the miles, the time it takes us to travel here, and see all these options in the sidebar panel. So from here, I can take 3 different options of travel and directions. I can also say I want to leave now or depart at a certain time, arrive by a certain time, and it'll calculate that distance for me. You can also choose a mode of transportation, which is nice to show the students if you're driving, here's how fast you can get to this location. If you're taking a public transportation or walking, it depends on what's available and how many hours it'll take you to get there. So I've seen a lot of teachers use this for ways to work out some math equations and elapsed time. If they're trying to figure out how much time it's going to take them to travel, what time do I need to leave, how many miles will I travel, and at what pace you'll be traveling. Also provided bicycle paths. So soon you may be able to take a bicycle by bike path and a little bit of road to get you to Great American Ballpark. And by taking a flight, it'll show you if you hover over the flights are not available, it'll be a grayed out area. It won't allow you to choose that. Back to the roadmap kind of view of this and gives you directions and different ways that you can use that with students. So I'm going to close up the side panel again, review with you just a couple areas. Here was back to the map view. If you find it easier for students to view landmarks and locations, zooming in and out, and other ways that you can use Google Maps. The one last thing I want to share with you is just some ways that you can have students search locations. What is the address for Great American Ballpark? How long would it take you to travel by car? You can easily give them some ideas on some things they can look for on maps, what direction they're facing if you're someone who's waiting for a pitch on home plate. So things like this, you can have them kind of figure out those items by looking at your map and calculating distance. You can also have students come up with trivia questions for using their own Google Maps and Reds Baseball. They can actually share their map out and give them some information, have them create some trivia questions, and have the students use each other's kind of trivia to answer some questions about maps. So all ways that you can use Google Maps in the classroom. This is just Google Maps and ways that you can use it. Again, Pegman's in the bottom right, zooming in and out. Fun activity for students. They like to use this and like to see different places, especially outside the United States. So you can search anything within the world you can search on here. So they like to go outside of our area. They always want to find their house and look for that and do a 360 view on their street view. So that's kind of a cool thing for them to do. This concludes a little bit about Google Maps. And in the next video, I'll be sharing about Google My Maps, where students can actually create their own maps. Thanks for listening.